Hello, Facebook. Hi, we're coming live today from Rythmia Life Advancement Center in beautiful Guanacaste, Costa Rica. It's a beautiful, beautiful day down here, and we just had an amazing week with Taita Juanito Chindon, who had been here for the whole week, and we've had an amazing week. About 82 people have gone through ceremonies, and it's just been a crazy week of rebirth and renewal. And I wanted to tell you and bring this to you today and tell you a little bit about what we're doing here. We're a life advancement center, again, in Guanacaste, Costa Rica, and we use plant medicine like ayahuasca and metaphysical teachings to bring about change in people's lives. And what's unique about our center is about 95 out of 100 people come here and have a life-changing miracle while they're here. And I want to talk to you about this miracle because it directly affects your life. So we believe that something happens to you when you were born, between when you were conceived and 5 years old, and you leave your soul because of safety, but you stay within your aura. But you leave your soul, and this split that occurs here is the source of all disease, all disorder, and all sadness, all addictions. And we've proven this time and time and time again. Thousands and thousands and thousands of people have been through these doors, and every time they come through, they have this life-changing experience while they're here. So we want you to know today that this life-changing experience can be yours. My quick story is that I was a multi-millionaire. I had sold a business for about $90 million, and I was terribly, terribly unhappy. And my unhappiness was so bad that I tried to commit suicide on 2 different occasions, and I was unable to do it. But I did try to commit suicide. And that's how bad my life was. In this situation, through a ceremony of plant medicine, I was reunited with my soul, and my life changed from that moment forever. A completely, completely, completely different life because of this unification of the soul. So the first thing that I ask you is that today Facebook has changed their rules. So I'm going to ask you if you think anybody needs this kind of enlightenment or anybody needs this change in their life, that you share this with us now and help us out by sharing it. And at any time throughout this broadcast, if you want to speak to a person who works with us, who can answer questions for you, just dial this number, this 866-936-9446. I can tell you if you dial the number, it'll change your life. It's easy for me to say because you see me every week and I'm doing this thing and I'm here. It's easy for me to say, but when you see the people that walk through the door, and this week I believe there were 82, last week, the 82 that are checking out today, and I think that there are 85 this week, and we're booked out all the time. So like we're booked out in weeks in advance now. So please call in ahead of time and reserve your spot. This is something you don't want to miss because this works. This isn't bullshit. This isn't hocus pocus. This is something that absolutely works. So and I'm going to tell you what it is and how it works. And I'm going to answer your questions while you're on the phone or while you're on the line here today. First thing I want to do is say hi to my mom. In Pocono Manor, Pennsylvania. Hi, Mom. I want to say hi to my wife, Brandy. Hi, Brandy. I want you guys, if you can, get this book. This book will explain everything about what this center is about and what happens here. It's called Shit the Moon Said because the moon has said some shit, and we got it. So that's what that's about. And I'm gonna bring on someone right now that was here this week and that had an amazing experience. Please come and join me. This week's guest, and tell me your beautiful name.
Amira Mondin.
Amira. And Amira is from well, from California, but lives in Florida. And she was actually a winner of one of our giveaways, right? So you came here as a giveaway, as a winner of the giveaway. And you had been following it for some time, though?
I actually booked it. And then I felt like I was following the call. And right when I booked it, 45 minutes later, I got a message to my Instagram account saying, "Congratulations, you won the contest." And I was like,
fantastic.
So I feel like I really am supposed to be here.
Well, that's fantastic. I like that. And what do you do back home, if you don't mind my asking?
So I'm a personal development coach and then a distributor for a homeopathic medical device.
Ah, fantastic. And that's all in Florida? And so you were just a little bit, you were telling me a little bit about your spiritual path. You were born Muslim, and then there was a split in your family. You adopted Christianity, and then you looked at your life over a period of years, and the ends weren't matching up. Right? Is that fair to say?
Just very incongruent, and I started asking the hard question because something was always missing. And I remember one day I just asked myself, God, why doesn't my life line up with that which I profess to believe? And that started this.
And that started the journey. And so one thing led to another, and you started watching this video or some videos or something, and you saw the craziness that went on down here, and you thought, what the heck? Tell me your thought process.
So my friend, I reconnected with a friend that we were in the same business, and we had one of those conversations that was like, I feel like I've known you my entire life. And so she's like, I have something you need to see. So she sends me the Reality of Truth video. And I watched that video, and every cell in my body resonated with what happened there. And then I start to see people that I respect in the video. And then I'm like, everything's like, you need to go and do that. But all honesty, I was like, I don't want to be in the jungle of Peru. I'm not trying to be laying in the jungle. I mean, you're a brave soul, but I was like, yeah. And in my mind, as I'm watching, it's like, gosh, can I just go somewhere nice and do it? And then at the end, I talked about Rythmia. So I was like, okay, I want to go to Rythmia.
Oh, beautiful. And throughout it, though, watching the videos and stuff like a normal human, you must have had some fear about what is this juice that I'm going to drink, and what's it going to make me do, and why don't you tell a little bit about what those things?
I was so afraid. Number one, because plant medicine, ayahuasca, traveling to Costa Rica, there was chaos with my religious beliefs. And I even had some friends, accuse me of being involved with witchcraft, which was very painful.
Very good.
And still there was like this wrestling, but at the same time there was this knowing that this is what you need to do. And then I'm like, I don't want to purge. And y'all are like, oh, we purge. And I'm like, no, thank you. So I was nervous about that. Just nervous about traveling, to another country.
Absolutely,
and,
sure.
I mean, I came here nervous and stayed nervous.
I saw you when you got off the bus. You were very nervous, and I was there to see you. So let's just run through this. So was the resort what you thought it would be like? Was it nice and stuff like that?
It was better than I thought it would
Fantastic.
be. So it's really beautiful.
And so, okay, that's one good. So now on the first day here, every Monday, there's a curriculum, and we do some classes. And so you listen to me, this loud, cursing, crazy man up there, and I'm going to tell you what's going to happen, and you must think to yourself. And I explain about this split, about the split that happens to people's soul. And what did you think when you heard that?
I mean, it made sense. And at the same time, again, fear is just welling up because you talk so casually about purge. I mean, I really didn't want to purge. And then, and then there was the, well, what if I purge in front of everybody? So that was something I had to get over too, like getting over who cares what people think. So, but then you said something that really resonated with me when you said, you can't use the same mind that got you into this to get you out.
And that's a key thing.
Yes. This mind that got me into this is not the same mind that's going to get me out.
So true.
So I was like, okay. And then I just said, just trust. Trust. And everybody here is so loving. And when you guys look at us, you see us.
Oh yeah.
When you hug us, you're really hugging
Absolutely.
us. So I was like, you can trust, and you've been led here by purpose. So just trust what he's saying.
And so, all that said, you get up there the first night, They lay you down, you drink your medicine, and then what happens? Tell me the first night.
So the first night was actually a really good night.
Uh-huh.
So I drank the medicine, and it's okay. I have to see better with my eyes closed. Okay, if I close my eyes?
Go ahead. Yeah.
So it starts with the sacred geometry, and I start seeing all these beautiful patterns, and then all of a sudden it appears and I'm in Egypt. And it's revealed that I was at one point Egyptian royalty. And so there's all this gold and precious jewels and swirling around, and then I find myself mummified. I can actually feel the wrappings on my body. I can feel my body decomposing. And then all of a sudden it shifts. And then when it shifts, it kind of goes into like a Harlequin Joker scene, and I'm not really sure what that meant. And I just kind of fall asleep. And then I wake up, and then it's like a call for the second drink. So we have the second drink, and then it got really intense after the second drink. So after the second drink, you start to see, I start to see patterns. Now, I was, up until this point, deathly afraid of snakes. And what's so crazy about it is snakes began appearing before I even got here. I had a snake in my pool. I had a snake in my house.
Wow.
So,
Go get him.
So the pattern of the snake starts to come, and I'm like, oh, hell no, here comes the snakes, right? And then all of a sudden, I purge. And I mean violent purge. And I remember.
So when you say violent purge, I want to say violent. To explain to them, like.
Explain.
Like a real purge.
Yeah,
right?
it was a. Yeah, you know, it was a big purge. But
One
I remember what you said that you
Uh-huh.
can ask.
And so what did you? So you looked in the bucket.
I looked in the bucket and I
and
said,
you
"What
asked,
was that?"
and what
The
did they
first
say?
purge was resentment, and all kind of people's
Beautiful.
names and things came up
Oh my
that
God,
I was
beautiful.
resenting. And then even like resentment for my mother, and then I started to cry.
Yeah.
And then I purged again, and then I was like, "What was that?" And it said the fear of snakes.
Wow.
And then after that, the snakes appeared, and they were beautiful.
I think
And then
gorgeous.
she danced, and they were everywhere, and I was okay with it. And I was like, "Yeah!"
How good is that?
So,
Amazing, right?
So I was like, and she was dancing, and she was showing me her brilliance, and I was like, "Oh, you're so beautiful," and she liked that. And she opened her mouth, and she invited me into her mouth, and in her mouth was like layers and layers going down her throat. So I went into her mouth, then went into the belly, and just kind of was like laying there in fetal position. And I stayed there for a while.
Beautiful.
And then she said, "I'm going to be birthed out," and then she birthed me out of her mouth.
How gorgeous.
And then shot out this green light into me, and then she started to swirl. I was like looking down her, I could see her swirling up my body.
Beautiful.
And so,
Oh my God.
so now I
beautiful.
kind of like snakes.
Yeah, that's a great first night. And so the next day there's more programming, and the second night we go back up to the medicine.
Oh,
what
but can I
happens?
share something else that happened
Should
on the
go
first
right
night?
ahead. Yeah.
So when I'm laying there, after I'm okay with the snakes, I begin to feel vibration in my hands. And my hands do that when I'm meditating. And I never knew it was. I mean, I literally could feel the energy moving between my hands. And so my hands come up like this, and I could just feel the vibration. And I asked, I said, "What is this? What do I do with this?" And my soul said, "These hands are made for healing."
Wow.
And said, "Start with yourself."
Wow.
So my hands come up my body, and then they opened up my chest and exposed my heart.
Beautiful.
And then they came down, and they hovered over my womb. And they stayed, and I could feel the energy going into my womb. And then I was taken to my bathroom, where I had a miscarriage. Can I share that?
I would love you to.
So I find myself in my bathroom, where I miscarried what would have been my third child. And as I'm sitting there, I'm able to reach into, it's a little graphic.
That's okay.
I'm able to reach into the bloody water. I pull my child out, and he's just a little guy, And I'm like, "I'm so sorry I released you in the toilet." And so I cleaned him off, and I took him and I put him back in my belly.
How beautiful.
And then I'm taken to and then it's like I'm in my belly, and he's laying on an altar. And there's like a little light coming up from him, and then the light dims. And I was like, "Oh my goodness." I said, "Is that the moment that your heartbeat stopped?" And there was just a knowing that said yes. And I just sat there and I was weeping.
Of course.
And then I said, and then there was the voice. Soul said, "Remember who you are." So I started speaking to him, and I was like, "You're alive. You live. Death cannot separate us." And the little light came back on. And then all of a sudden, very quickly, he turned he put himself like in a little capsule. And he came back up to the open heart. He injected himself into my heart. And then the snake came in. She put a little place in my heart, too. So that was all in the first night.
You can't make that up. I mean, that is amazing stuff. God bless you. And that's night one at Rythmia. So what happens night 2?
Night 2 sucked.
It
I
did?
can't-
Well, tell
oh,
us about
God.
what sucked means. Go ahead.
Night 2 was horrible.
In what
So
regard?
night 2 was just chaos everywhere. The music was irritating to me. The sacred geometry was just, I mean, it was chaos. And I was like, I want to go home. I don't want to be here. What have I gotten myself into? When I was like, okay, think about your children. Maybe they'll make you feel better. The more I thought about my children, the more I missed them. So I was like, hey, don't think about the children. And it was just, and then some celestial beings came. And I saw the shadow of them. And
The big ones.
the big ones, the tall ones. And yeah, and they look like just like you've seen. They look like all the
Yeah, they do.
pictures. And
They
and-
come here a lot, so it's okay. Go ahead.
I was just like, what do you want? And they don't communicate with their mouth, and I received to explore. And I was like, hell no. So I said no. I was like, I'm not your guinea pig, no. And so then I came out of that, and I felt awful. I felt awful all day long. I was walking around.
So now it's so now it's Wednesday day.
Wednesday.
And so Wednesday day.
But what got me through
So-
was when you said to remember that the order comes right after the chaos.
Absolutely.
So what you share in the first class is very beneficial.
And it all proves out, but it doesn't prove out till the end, right?
Well, the next day was when it got good.
Okay, so now the next day is a good friend of ours and of Rythmia, Taita Juanito Chindon, flew in from Colombia to serve some medicine, and it was quite an evening. So tell us about this one.
So I was still scared because the night before.
Have you merged with your soul yet?
I know I had the heart but I wasn't sure about the soul yet.
Well, if you had the heart, that only comes after the soul is merged.
Oh, I forgot something.
Go ahead.
So yes,
So
on the night before, I was also taken back to a time when my brother had locked me into a toy trunk. My parents gave us a trunk to keep our toys in. My brother and I, 6, 7 years old, we figured out we could fit inside of them. So he went in first, and I just sat there. Then he put me in and put the latches on, and my mom called him to go take out the trash.
And he
And he
forgot.
left me in the trunk. So I'm in there and I'm screaming. I think somebody can hear me, and then all of a sudden it starts to get dim and I can't breathe. And it's just like a tunnel. It's like closing in, closing in. And then right at the last second, there was light that opens up. My father opened up the trunk. Now I was estranged from my father for about 20 years. We reconnected about 3 years ago, and I was like, Dad, I remember that time I was in the trunk. Thank God you heard me screaming, and you opened the trunk. And he was like, I didn't hear you screaming.
He
said
opened
something told me go to the child's room and open the
beautiful.
trunk. So I was taken back to that scene, and when I got to that scene, I saw myself there at 6 years old, and I was still sitting in my room, sitting on the trunk, and I just went to little Myra, and I was like, I'm so sorry I left you. And I was like, and she wouldn't breathe. She was afraid to breathe. And so I was like, we can breathe. And I taught her the breath work that we learned.
How beautiful.
And so I was like, look, it's fun to breathe, and there's enough air. Breathe with me. So then I took my little self with me. It's like, and I'll never leave you again.
How gorgeous is that? And that was night 2.
That was night one. Night 2.
Okay, so now let's hop ahead to night 3.
So night 3 comes, and I'm still scared from night 2 because night 2 was chaos. And I was like, I don't even know if I want to drink. I still want to go home.
All right.
But I'm like, no, you're called here with purpose. So we go up, and I was like, just give me a little bit. So I say to Tati, un poquito, por favor. And I just said my intention was, can we just have a loving, beautiful experience? And we did, and it was really uneventful.
And
It was
a beautiful night, but uneventful.
That was it. And so then the third call came for the third drink. And I was like, Myra, come on, you can do this. So I got up and got in line, and I said, please give me my miracle. And I drank it. And this was right at the time when we were having the healing circle. But it kicked in right at that time.
Yeah.
So I began to purge violently, so much so I had to turn my back from the circle. And then the beautiful, the other shamans, the women, they came, and they were all, there was so much love, and they're like, okay, and I was just all over the place. So we finally get the last bit out, and I stand back up, and Taita does his healing. And I feel better. I feel weight just coming off of me. And then I go back to my bed, and I lay down, and I fall asleep. And I start to see beautiful sacred geometry. And then, this is my favorite part, I went to heaven, Gerry. And it was so gorgeous. It was so gorgeous. And everybody was there. The first person to present themselves was my son that I lost. And he came, and he just, he stood in front of me and let me see him grow up. I saw him from baby to grown man.
How beautiful.
And then all my other children came, and then people
How
that have
beautiful.
passed came, and like
How
my friend
beautiful.
from college who died of cancer, she was there, and
Oh,
my
good.
mother-in-law's husband. I mean, it was wonderful. Then the animals came. The eagle came and gave me its eyes, and then the tiger came and gave me sensuality and power, and then the owl came and gave me wisdom, and then I saw the light.
How great is this, huh?
And should we let the cat out the bag?
Go ahead.
So God is a female energy. Newsflash. I know that's going to piss some people off, but
Hey,
female energy.
it was a hard one for me to swallow in the beginning, but I'm with you. And so that's night 3.
This is night 3.
And we still have a night left.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go to night 4.
So night 4, I'm kind of like, can I just stay at night 3? And I'm like, I don't want to do 4. I'm
Nice.
good, you know? So I go and I do night 4. And what was so beautiful about the next morning is as I walked, I could feel everything. Everything, the trees. The birds were singing, not just chirping in the morning. And I could feel just like, you know, food I wanted to eat and not eat. I mean, it was just, and I wanted to stay in
Isn't
that
that
place.
interesting thing? Yeah.
I wanted to stay in that place. So the next night comes, and then on the next night, it was more of the beautiful sacred geometry, and I just asked, give me what I need in this moment right now. And then again, I found myself in the womb,
Interesting.
and I stayed in the womb all night long.
How beautiful. That's a great place to be. So when they went into your heart, that means your soul was already merged. So it's something previous to that merged you while you were here. And then having that new heart, explain what it feels like in life. Like, that's what it feels like in the medicine. Now talk about it
It
in
feels
life.
good. It feels so good. It
right?
feels so good. Like the best feeling I've ever had. I mean, I want to hug everybody. I want to hug you.
I know.
Just like, and then you just vibrate and and you like the trees and the colors and you just feel you know who you are.
And this is the truth. And this is the thing that happens every single week. That this is what the product of this is. And I tell you, talk about a place that vibrates with love. Everybody in the place is at this peak. So there were 82 people, and I know what you must have thought, because you've done work in your life before. You must have thought, oh, I'm probably going to be okay with it, but there's a lot of people who aren't going to get it, right? It's just logic. You're looking at people, and there's 82, and you're thinking, oh, there's people who aren't going to get it. But the miracle is how everybody winds up in the same place.
They do. Eventually
Isn't that the miracle of it, though? that I look at people all the time, and I think, how could they have gotten it? And they do. It just happens, and it doesn't matter like what you've been through or where you are in the path. All that matters is that you came with an open heart, and that's why it's getting really hard to get in here. So if you're coming, book now. Get in here, because this is what's happening. This is what's happening, and I couldn't make this up. Were you amazed at some of the people in our group? What was the youngest person this week, would you say?
Oh, probably maybe early 20s.
I'd say
Maybe like
22-ish,
so,
right?
Yeah.
And what do you think the oldest person was?
75.
In their mid to late 70s, I'd say. A couple got married, and I don't want to say how old they are because I'll get someone upset, but I think they're
Late 60s?
Late 60s, got married in ceremony. This is the thing that's happening every week. The reason 4 nights of medicine is because the moon told us to do it in 4 nights. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. That's why. So everything that happens here is a result of a journey that I had that changed my life, that we replicated throughout the place. So I'm telling you that this vibrance, she's an amazing person, right? But this vibrance is what is in the air. So you got to come here, and once you're here, you'll know what we're talking about. You could talk, if you go home and you see your neighbor, and she says, hey, Ariana, how you doing? You're like, okay. And she says, where were you? You don't know where the hell to start, right? How do you explain this? It's hard, right?
Yeah, because it's not one of those things where like...
Yeah, nothing to relate it to, right?
No, you're just like... I was in Costa Rica. I mean, you sound crazy. Like, I was in Costa Rica. I did plant medicine with the shaman. I was throwing up all night long, and then, you know, the fourth night came out the other way. I mean, like, you know, neighbor's gonna be like, okay. You know?
I got to speak to God.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, God's female. You know, I saw the child that I miscarried. Like,
get out, right? Get out, right? That's crazy.
I went to heaven. Yeah, sure, you
went to heaven. This is all in a week. So this is really happening, and it happens every single week. So I want you guys to come and to experience this. And listen, there's a million places you can go. You could go to the Amazon and do this. And you know, for me, I'm a guy that likes clean beds and sheets and not laying on animals and things. I love the way that we do it. And it's not for everyone, but it's for a particular kind of person. There are people that love to go to the Amazon, that they're not afraid of malaria and all the different stuff that's down there. And I take my hat off to them, because I did medicine in the jungle 2 nights of my life, and I'm going to tell you what, it scared the pants off me. But I'm more like an urbanite, so I like this way of doing it. But God, you got to come here, and you have to see what happens here. You have to come with this open heart and see what happens. These are miracles. And when people say, oh, you know, a miracle is a change in perception. Yeah, a miracle is a change in perception. But a miracle, the miracle that we're talking about, is a reuniting with your soul in a new heart. You get a new heart. And once you get that new heart in you, it's on. You can't wait to go home. So I don't care if you're a businessman or a salesman or an actress or a waitress or whatever. You're going to be a better one of those things. You're going to be a better husband, a better wife, a better mother, a better girlfriend, a better boyfriend. This multiplies. It doesn't divide. And it really multiplies. I was sitting in there today and I was talking to people in closing. And in closing, you hear the wildest shit. And I was like, there are a lot of ex-Catholics and ex-Christians and ex-Baptists in the mix. And the one lady started saying, oh, she was talking to Jesus, and everybody took a sigh of relief. They're like, oh, it's okay with Jesus, then it's okay with me.
He's in the garden. He's in the garden.
He is in the garden here. We do him in the garden.
We were walking by, we're like, oh, Jesus is here.
Jesus.
It's all good.
Right? And that is crazy,
Buddha's
right?
here too.
Buddha's here. But it's so funny because, you know, people see them. They go in and they see Jesus. They go in and they see Buddha. You went and saw the mother of all of heaven, and that's gorgeous.
It's beautiful light. It's beautiful.
So if you were talking to someone in your family, and they said to you, hey, look, I want your honest opinion. Is this something I should go do? What would you say? You know?
I would say it's something you should go do if you feel like you're being called.
Uh-huh.
If you've been attracted to this, or you're watching a video and what we're saying resonates with your soul, then yes. It's definitely not something to say, oh, I just want to go.
Uh-huh. So can I ask you this?
Yeah.
I always say this is the hardest week of most people's lives. This work is hard work. This isn't, let's see, I could go to Club Med or I could go to Rythmia. It's not that deal. This is super hard work. And if you're thinking for a second that it's not hard work, if you're thinking that you're not going to cry, if you're thinking that sometime throughout the week, there's not a person who at some point within that week wishes they didn't come. Truth, right? Truth. And they're glad they did by Saturday or Sunday, but within that week, there's always someone that wishes they didn't come. Or at some point in the week, you know why? Because it's hard. And you know the hardest thing is looking at yourself. It's a terribly hard thing to look at yourself. And a lot of people are just afraid because they don't want to purge. Here's the thing. I talk to people all the time and you know, Gerry, my life is so screwed up. I have a habit. I drink too much. I have sex with people I don't know because I drink too much. I said, okay, we can fix you. Well, am I going to have to throw up? Well, yeah. Like if things are that bad, a little throwing up is not a bad thing.
It's good.
It's a great thing.
Because right after you purge, instantly the weight lifts and you feel better. And you can ask, what was that? And there's something very powerful about knowing that you just got rid of resentment or that you just got rid of your fear. And
once you understand it, you start wanting to purge because you want to get the rest of that shit out of there. And it's crazy. And once you've purged on ayahuasca, a lot of people think it's like when you're stone sober and you're home and you have a flu and you know that terrible, that thing. That's not the kind of purge it is. This is more like a very drunk purge. And it happens in a way, and as it's happening, the shaman is there and he's blowing shindu on you, and you feel new and clean and restored, and it's a beautiful thing. And it's a beautiful thing. So we love you guys to come down and experience this. If you're being called, and if you're ready to do the work. I gotta tell you, out of 3,000 people, about 1 out of 700 actually leave before the week is over. So maybe there's been, let's say 3,500, let's say 6 people-ish since the beginning have actually left because they weren't prepared to do the work. So you got to be ready to do the work. And what does it mean being ready to do the work? Be serious enough about your life that you want to make a change. If your life is going great and everything is lining up and your religion is reflected as you in the world, and everything is right, and your business is going good, and your marriage is going good, and everything is on point, you're not going to want to come and do this work. But if things aren't right, by all means, don't waste any more time. Come, and you can actually turn it around in 1 week. And here's the greatest thing about this. We survey these beautiful people 3, 6, and 9 months after they're here. And on the 9-month survey, 97.55% of the people that have been here say that this was the week that changed their life. So by all means, you can buy all kinds of things for $3,500 to $5,000. You can buy all kinds of things. You can buy some handbags or some not a half a car, not anymore, a couple tires for your car. You can buy something like that. Here we're talking about buying a whole new way of living, a whole new way of existing, and it's real. And you can come here and you can stick your finger in the wound. This is real. So we want to thank you guys for joining us, and I want to tell you, do me a favor and share this because this lady is amazing, amazing, and other people are going to want to see, and especially the story of. I'm going to tell you something. There's, in your case, it was a miscarriage. 90% of the women that walk through these doors have had an abortion in their life. And that abortion, because of Catholicism and because of men that put stuff on women, that abortion has scarred them. And they worry about that life. And when they get here and they see that life, it changes everything. It's such important stuff. This is all a part of the journey. But come here, and you can of course.
They're there. All the babies, they're all there.
All the babies are there. All the babies are there.
They're all there.
They're all there.
And there is no condemnation.
Nothing. It's nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing but
love.
and that is the truth. That there's nothing but love. So please, by all means. Call this number, 866-936-9446. Do me a favor and share this. And if you're ever thinking about coming, make the decision to come, and then strange things start happening. Once you decide to come and once you call, the medicine finds you and starts working in you. It sounds like bullshit, but it's the absolute truth. The medicine starts and synergies start happening. Little miracles start showing up. Family members call you. It's this craziest thing because so do things. The medicine wants you to commit to a new life, and that's what it's asking you. So please call this number. Come see us, and if you have any questions, I'll answer them later today. And God bless you. You're so beautiful and so new, so brand new.
Thank you. Can I thank you?
You can thank me.
And I thank you for everything that you went through.
You can absolutely.
Thank you for listening to what the moon said. Thank you for having the courage to go down when you're like, I don't want to go, and then for putting this all together.
Thank you for being
You
you.
too,
Thank
bye.
you for coming here. Thank you, guys, and we will see you next week, hopefully, in the same show. God bless you. God keep you. Have a wonderful week. Leave yourself alone for the week and ride on this. Ride on this, okay? Cheers, guys.